Temple Run 2 is a 2013 endless-running video game developed and published by Imangi Studios. A sequel to the original game, the game was produced, designed and programmed by husband and wife team Keith Shepard and Natalia Luckyanova, with art by Kiril Tchangov. It was released on the App Store on January 17, 2013, on Google Play on January 24, and on Windows Phone 8 on December 20. As of June 2014, Temple Run 2 and its predecessor have been downloaded over 1 billion times. Gameplay: Temple Run 2 features the same controls as its predecessor. However, the gameplay itself is slightly different insofar as it introduces new obstacles, such as ziplines, mine tracks, sharper turns, waterfalls, and jets of fire. The game also features new power-ups, and players now have the ability to save the protagonist from death by using green gems that are collected while running, or purchased online. The game is set in a different location than the first game, and the main character runs faster. The three monkeys that chased the character in the original game have been eliminated. Now, a singular enlarged monkey called Kushank is the sole antagonist. Upon the initial release, there were 4 characters available for play, but that has been increased to 10 as of December 1, 2013, Guy Dangerous, Default Explorer, Scarlet Fox, Barry Bones, Karma Lee, Francisco Montoya, Spanish Conquistador, Zach Wonder, American football player, Montana Smith, Usain Bolt, fastest runner in the world, Santa Claus. In August, Usain Bolt was made available for purchase for a limited time, though this was later made permanent. In December, Santa Claus was made available for purchase, only for a limited time. The December update also included water slides, an unlockable Santa hat for each of the main characters, collectible artifacts such as masks, and a Christmas progress chart. Except for Bolt and Santa Claus, all other characters are unlocked with coins. Bolt must be bought with real money and Santa must be unlocked with gems. Although the characters appear different, their abilities and behavior are identical. Development and release: Development of Temple Run 2 began in March 2012. Imangi stated that the main goal of the game was to make the gameplay similar and familiar in relation to the original, while introducing new elements and creating a redeveloped experience. According to Keith Shepard, "Our biggest reason for doing the sequel instead of an update is that we just weren't going to be able to make these changes to the original." Under the hood, the game was completely rewritten from scratch and it's now in much better shape to allow us to continue adding more to it over time. Natalia Luckyanova added, "Once it became so popular, there was a ton we wanted to do to Temple Run but it really wasn't built for expansion. It's built on top of our in-house 3D engine, which is pretty limited and requires a lot of coding on our end to make any changes. Plus, we didn't want to change Temple Run 2 dramatically, since so many people were playing it and loving it. So we decided to make a brand new version, where we could update the graphics, play around with powers, create new environments, etc." Temple Run 2 was announced in a surprise announcement by Imangi on January 16, 2013, with the game being released in the App Store in New Zealand immediately, and an international release coming a few hours later. The Android version was released on January 24, 2013. The Windows Phone 8 version was released on December 20, 2013 with the inclusion of Xbox Live achievements. Within 4 days of its iOS release, the game had reached 20 million downloads, 6 million of which were within the first 24 hours. Reception: Temple Run 2 has been generally well received. The iOS version holds an aggregate score of 79 out of 100 on Metacritic, based on 10 reviews, and 79.93% on Game Rankings, based on 14 reviews. Edge were impressed, scoring the game 8 out of 10 and writing Temple Run 2 is a beautiful-looking, natural extension of the series that never breaks stride for a second. Chris Reed of Slide to Play was equally impressed, scoring the game 4 out of 4, and arguing that it improves on just about every aspect of the original. Carter Dobson of 148 App scored the game 4.5 out of 5, writing the sequel is largely just full of minor tweaks that mostly improve the experience while leaving the addictive core untampered. Playing Temple Run 2 is a simple reminder of why the original was such a hit, and why it stands above all imitators. Its mechanics are still pristine. Its controls are still pretty much immaculate. The formula has been tweaked, and I think it has come out for the better. Touch Arcade's Judd Nelson also gave a score of 4.5 out of 5, writing Temple Run 2 Euro's simplicity and intangible something is what made its predecessor a game that I always went back to even in the face of a smorgasbord of alternatives, and it's what will keep this on my device easily within thumb's reach for a long time to come. APP Spy's Andrew Nesvedbo gave the game 4 out of 5, the same score he had given the original, writing the end result is a smoother experience that retains the core of Temple Run without adding too much complexity so as to alienate its base. GameZabo's Jim Squires also scored the game 4 out of 5, writing there are no big shifts in gameplay. There are no buzzworthy changes. At best, you can sum it up as it's like Temple Run, but a little bit better. Eurogamer's Owen Faraday was slightly less enthusiastic, scoring the game 7 out of 10 and writing, the biggest flaw Temple Run 2 betrays is its conservatism. The amount of work that has gone into the game is evident, and it's hard to fault an accessible, thrilling game that offers itself to you for free, but it's so similar to its predecessor that it ultimately feels a bit unnecessary. Pocket Gamer's Harry Slatter also scored the game 7 out of 10, writing endless runners haven't really moved on since Temple Run first sprinted onto the scene. And, if anything, Temple Run 2 highlights that more than most. Where Imangi was blazing a new trail with the first game and setting trends left, right, and right again, Temple Run 2 is just another enjoyable entrant into a crowded genre. See also, List of most downloaded Android applications, references.